available, been extremely generous with her time and answering my questions. You know, she's driven me crazy at times because since this is a series of books, you know, a familiar refrain became, you know, I can't tell you that because that's going to happen in book 7. But she would tell me when I was on the right path.
I think when we were making the first film, she had showed us in manuscript form the 4th book. And she just, you know, she gave it to Steve, and Steve then took it on the plane, and he realized, oh my goodness, here I am carrying this. I think he was really nervous. Here's Steve on the first, at the Mondrian Hotel, looking much younger than he does now. And that's Chris on the phone back there. And that was the first, God, Steve does look younger, right? I'm going to show him this later on today. We're still working on the script for Harry 7 Part 2.
Clear the line, put me those guys in the top row, okay?
And Mr. Harry Potter has his key.
In the first film, I particularly remember the scene where Dan has to come up wanting access to his vault, and Chris wanted Dan to kind of look shocked.
And when you first walk in, that thing really scares you when you first enter frame. Set and action!
But Dan really was not fazed by anything. So Chris said to me, on the next take, when you lean over, make him jump.
Look me in the eye when I'm talking to you! Does Mr. Harry Potter have his key?
Okay, guys.
It did not have the desired effect at all. He just burst out laughing.
Hey, I told you, one or the other. Day 27, it all fell apart. All right, well, we tried.
I was made to look very different as the bank teller. Big ears, the nose, the spectacles, the teeth, the contact lenses. So, as that character, there was nothing of Warwick left. And Nick Dudman and the makeup effects department took care of that.
The challenge on the Potter films at the beginning was very definitely the goblins. The trouble with something like goblins, most of the designs you look at have been done. And if you say, no, it's got to look new, you find the avenues you're going down get narrower and narrower and narrower. So in the end, we decided the most important thing was character. Make each of these an interesting character and goblinize that character so that there isn't a set look for goblins any more than there's a set look for human beings. We then decided we would do all the pieces in silicon, but it was a bit of a gamble. Silicon at that point was still pretty iffy, and there were a lot of questions about it chemically that I wasn't totally convinced by at that point. Now it's very much a production line, very straightforward and lovely. But this was one of the first occasions where we were using it. There were moments where we were going, why isn't this setting? Why isn't this working? But we cracked it, and we learned a lot. I was very pleased with the way the goblins worked out, because the way they were shot, the way the sequence was done, was very complementary to the work.
Hagrid, what exactly are these things?
Okay. So he says his line, you throw him in the cupboard, lock the door, and then you go down to the bar.